Hey Watch Fam, welcome back to another episode of Watch Takes here on Watches with Oliver. For today's episode, we will be reviewing the Bulova Lunar Pilot in Meteorite. So this version is a little bit different than the other versions that are out there. Currently there is the black dial version, the blue and white dial version, which is also known as a Snoopy version, and also the blood red moon Lunar Pilot. So this particular version has the Meteorite dial and it has a titanium case, which is also different. So if you guys don't know about the story of the Bulova Lunar Pilot, this particular watch was worn on a mission and used as a backup because one of the certified watches had failed. So this particular Bulova watch was strapped onto the wrist, and it wasn't really known because it wasn't really officially on the list of itemized inventory. However, fast forward to 2015, the watch came out to a private auction where it sold for $1.6 million. And so Bulova wanted to capitalize on it, and they did release initially a version of it in 45 millimeters, which I originally had and which was big for my wrist, unfortunately. It was nice, but it just draped too much because I've got a small wrist. So I sold that one, and then fast forward a couple years later, and Bulova reduced the size to the original 43.5 millimeter size, and then they released this version of the Meteorite dial version. So let's go ahead and take a look at it more close up and see what it's all about. All right, so here we have the Bulova outer box, and it's a bit bigger than the normal small boxes that you get. On the bottom has the barcode, says Lunar Pilot, 50 meters of water resistance in titanium, and the retail price of $14.95. The model number is 96A312. So let's go ahead and open it up, and then we're greeted with this nice thin packaging right here of foam to protect the inner box. And when we open the flap and we open up the box, we are greeted with the watch. And so we also have here a little booklet with the pull-out tab, as you can see right here. So if we go ahead and pull this, you can read a little bit of the Lunar Pilot. Here is a certificate of authenticity, Lunar Pilot Meteorite Limited Edition. The new Lunar Pilot with a genuine Lusta meteorite dial is unique with natural color and pattern, creating a bold new look for this iconic timepiece. The Lusta meteorites found in northern Scandinavia were born in the core of 4 billion-year-old asteroids that slowly cooled over a million of years as they flew through space, thus creating distinctive patterns, guaranteeing that no two dials are alike in the new Lunar Pilot. The booklet says, continuing to advance the art of watchmaking, Bulova proudly introduces the Lunar Pilot Meteorite. On August 2, 1971, the date that Apollo 15 made lunar history, and with it a Bulova Lunar Pilot chronograph. Bulova's legendary engineering expertise was tapped by NASA to help with the U.S. space effort. An active partnership lasted from the mid-1950s into 1970s. Bulova innovative Accutron tuning fork movement, which could work in low-gravity conditions, was used in all instrument panel clocks and timekeeping mechanisms on 46 NASA missions. During the historic July 1969 moonwalk, a Bulova ultra-sensitive precision timer was a crucial part of the seismometer placed in the Sea of Tranquility to conduct scientific experiments and transmit critical lunar data. Continuing the legacy of spacefaring history, the Lunar Pilot boasts a 6-hand chronograph dial. It is meticulously crafted from a genuine Lusta meteorite. This 4.5 billion-year-old meteorite was discovered in northern Scandinavia in 1906, and its varied crystalline pattern makes every dial unique. Powered by Bulova's proprietary high-precision quartz movement, resonating at a frequency of 262 kHz for unparalleled accuracy and affording a sweeping chronograph hand. Other features include superluminous hands and markers, anti-reflective sapphire glass, and tachymeter. So this was the original lunar pilot that was strapped on the wrist for the Apollo 15 mission. This privately owned watch sold at auction for $1.6 million. So yeah, just a nice little booklet. And then yeah, you get a certificate of authenticity, limited to 5,000 pieces worldwide, as you can see. You get this little booklet in here, and here's the watch. But before we get into the watch, there's these nice little pull-out tabs, as you can see right here. So you could pull it, and then underneath we have the hang tag with the retail price, some warranty instructions. So it's just extra space for storing the little booklets, but I don't really have anything in it. So we'll just put all that back in there. But if we go ahead and take a look at the watch itself. So this is the Bulova Lunar Pilot with the Meteorite dial. And as you can see, it is pretty stunning to see and pretty impressive to have a meteorite piece. I've always wanted a meteorite piece because of my fascination with space. And the case is also titanium bead blasted, so that's a bit different. This is also my first titanium case watch. And then if we go ahead and just remove it from the buckle here, if we have a NATO leather strap here, the clasp and the metal pieces are blacked out, and it's pretty high quality, nice genuine leather, signed Bulova. As you can see, it is 20 millimeter lugs, and it fits very comfortable on the wrist. So the diameter is 43.5 millimeters. So the original Lunar Pilot was 45, and this is 43 millimeters, which is just perfect for my wrist. The 45 I did have a while back, and it is pretty big and unwieldy on my wrist. But this one is just snug, and probably the most I'll ever wear on my wrist. And plus, because it's also titanium, it's pretty light. But yeah, you could definitely take a look at that nice meteorite dial. The tachymeter ring is also a bit different. It's bead blasted, kind of textured as well, if you can see it, which is also different than the other lunar pilots that are out there. But that meteorite dial is definitely stunning, and like they said, no two dials are alike. So this is a precisionist movement. It's 262 kilohertz. It's plus or minus, I'd say, 5 seconds a year. It's pretty insane accuracy, at a reasonable price point at $14.95 or less if you can find it cheaper. We go ahead and remove this. You can see there's an engraving on the back. So it says Apollo 15, EVA 3, August 2, 1971. Myeon Lusta Meteorite Dial, limited edition. This one is number 618 out of 5,000. And this is only waterproof to 50 meters. The back is screw down. And with chronographs, it does have the pushers, but the pushers are a bit different. I call these butterfly pushers because they extend a bit outward. The crown is signed with the Bulova tuning fork logo, and you can see the sapphire crystal right there, pretty raised up, but it does have anti-reflective coating. So if we go to activate it, you can see the sub dial right there is moving, and it will only work for, I believe, 30 seconds, and then it'll stop, but then the center second hand will still keep moving. If we go ahead and reset it, that's how it resets. So this leather strap is pretty nice. It does have quick release, so you can instantly replace it with any other straps that you may see fit. Now if we go ahead and take a look at it on my 6.25-inch wrist fits pretty easily. Goes through this buckle right here, and then like so. Put it through the keepers. And there you go. That's what it looks like on my 6.25-inch wrist. So it's pretty snug. It fits very comfortably. I'd say it's a bit lighter than the non-titanium versions, like the stainless steel one. But there it is on my wrist. And it is a stunning timepiece, and I'm really happy I've got this piece in my collection. All right, real quick, we're going to open up the case back here to reveal the inside. As you can see, it is a screw down case back. And here is the inside of the watch. And so there's the battery. As you can see, it does say no joules right there. This is, I believe, the MP20 movement. And there's the battery. It uses a SR927W battery. So if you ever need to replace it, there's the battery. But this is the movement right here, as you can see. So because it doesn't have a continuously sweeping second hand, the second hand does tick twice a second. It doesn't have any joules. It probably doesn't need it. However, I believe the ones that do have the continuous sweeping hand does have joules in it, maybe 7 or 8. And that's also based on the Precisionist movement. So here I am shining the UV light on the Bulova Lunar Pilot. And if you guys can tell, the subdial hands are also loomed as well. I believe it is using BGW9 because it's not green loom, but it's more of the blue-green type of loom. So let's go ahead and turn off the UV light. And as you can see, it glows pretty strong. You can see the subdial hands are also glowing strong, but you don't really see those into the morning. They don't have as much longevity, but the rest of the hands and markers do. So you can totally see them in the morning. But the visibility is great. And like I said, I think it uses BGW9 because it's blue-green loom and not green loom like Super Luminova. All right, guys, so hope you guys liked my little review of the Bulova Lunar Pilot in Meteorite. You know, what do I think of it? What's my watch take? You know, out of all the Lunar Pilots, I think if I'm going to go for a Lunar Pilot, I might as well just go for the exclusive one, if you will. I mean, I did have the original one, but you know, it was okay. I mean, it was 45 millimeters, and my friend Joe has a 43.5 millimeters in black, but I wanted the Meteorite dial because of my interest in space. And to me, just having a Meteorite on your wrist is pretty cool. I mean, I remember when I first saw my first Meteorite dial watch in a Rolex Daytona, and I loved it. And you know, that's a little bit out of my price range, so I'm glad Bulova came out with this years later. And you know, I think it's really the best bang for the buck if you really want a Meteorite dial, you want a Lunar Pilot, and you want a watch that keeps great accuracy. I mean, this watch can keep 5 ± 5 seconds a year, which is pretty accurate. And you know, the battery lasts approximately maybe 2 to 3 years, depending on how long you use the chronograph function. But all in all, it is a great watch. It's my first titanium watch too, so it's super light on the wrist and it looks really good. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other Bulova and Caravel videos. In the meantime, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.